Welcome back to another episode of my Tulane Green Wave Dynasty here on College Football 25, where we unfortunately fell short against Penn State here in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Um, just kind of fell apart in the second half. I don't think it was a game where we got just straight out manned by that amount. They only outgained us by 12 yards. But a pick six, I threw 4 interceptions, one of which was just Chin getting hit as he's releasing the football. One was, I knew the decision I was making. I was just trying to make the decision fast enough, and I did not. Then 2 just bad decisions late with the game already pretty well in hand. But it was a game that we should have been up at least by 4 points heading into halftime. Had some bad drops throughout it, but definitely, it's a bad way to end the season, for sure. Obviously, it was another gigantic game for Trey Bueno, who is, it's an all-time, college football season. If you look at the record books from just strictly single season national record in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, probably stats that'll never be approached again, including by me and Trey Bueno as he enters year 3. But, just a massive season. We went over the stats by, it was a great year for Celeste Chin, 47 touchdowns. Unfortunately, the 4 interceptions definitely curtailed, our ability to maintain not turning the football over. Of course, we were better at that than we were last year, through 3 less interceptions on roughly 70 more attempts. Up the completion percentage, up the yards per attempt, a lot more touchdowns per pass. Eric Browning had a better year. Didn't really get a whole lot else out of the run game besides him. Eric Browning was great again out of the backfield, so he has had 2 great campaigns from that standpoint. Perrine was definitely a run game extension. We didn't get a whole lot else involved. We got these 2 tight ends that, if you combine their numbers, would have been a really solid season outside of just having the 2 touchdowns. But obviously, it was dominated by Bueno. Defensively, we got a new school record in sacks from Kate Olson. He'll be gone. Ashley Williams gets 11. He'll be gone. Rafael Cantu and George Fuller are guys that I'm definitely expecting to anchor this line heading into next year. We're losing a lot of production in the secondary, especially in the cornerback room. Jaden Lewis, Michael Ivory, Altis Smith will all be gone. It's definitely going to be, it's going to be a different look on defense. We should return, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much all of the offensive line. Preen is definitely gone. Definitely think Tavares Peppers is kind of the guy that I'm circling to hopefully take a big jump over this offseason, kind of become that de facto number 2. Tight ends largely intact with the guys we've been using. Should get pretty much the entire offensive line back. We'll have to bring in a new center, or we'll have a new starter there as Fortson will be graduating. But we got a guy here in Jeremiah Neighbors that definitely looks like he's prepared to take the next step unless Lyons for some reason takes a big jump. Defensive line, you obviously have to replace, these ends. Our top 3 guys there all graduating. We do have some youth that I think could definitely produce. It's just as a matter of which one really takes that leap. Again, defensive tackle room looks great. Lucien is a guy that I definitely think takes a step up. Wouldn't surprise me if Elijah Kilgo goes pro. We have bodies there at middle linebacker, though, not quite as athletic or quite as good as Kilgo, but feel okay about that if he were to leave. And, of course, you could always use Lucien. Probably really more of his game anyway, being more of a stand-up linebacker. Got some pass rushing ability, but that's definitely not his strong suit. And, again, Marquise Bickley, it's a guy that I'm really, really excited for. Should be cornerback 1 heading into next year, barring just a massive, 14 or 15 overall jump from one of these other guys. We got some speed coming back in the cornerback room. Jolly and Jordan should come back and be our safety duo again. We are losing some depth, though, at safety in Adams and Palmer. Things that I'm looking for this offseason, definitely some wide receivers. Maybe another running back. I feel like there's one that's like really athletic that I think could be a nice mixture there with Browning. Obviously, I'm okay taking a look along the offensive line, particularly at the tackle position. But I think we got some growth coming there, and a solidified edge rusher I think would be really exciting as well. Cornerbacks would probably be the big thing. Really, wide receiver and cornerback are probably the top two things I'm the most interested in. Now we have a pretty good recruiting class coming in, which we'll take a look at as that comes. We are going to be making a jump to another conference, so let's go ahead and let's improve our coach skills. I don't really know if there's anything I might do better save just to save points and maybe open up this elite recruiter tab. So we'll probably actually just do that because I think we're going to end up with a top 5 class this year. But nonetheless, let's finish out this playoff run. Should see a nice jump in our team prestige this upcoming year. Eldrin Camp is the American Defensive Player of the Week. Not there are a lot of options. Trey Bueno was the American Offensive Player of the Week. We do get a bye week, so let's take a look at the CFP bracket now. So it's Miami got an impressive victory over TCU. Clemson throttled Notre Dame. Oregon throttled Florida, and of course Penn State throttled us. I am going to say Penn State has beaten Oregon twice already this year. I think Oregon gets the win over them here. And then I think Clemson beats Miami is my expectation. I'm going Oregon and Clemson to play in the national championship game. And it is Oregon and Clemson playing each other in the national championship game. Has Clemson beat Miami by 11 and Oregon beat Penn State by 2 scores. Penn State barely beat Oregon the first time they met. Penn State throttled Oregon the second time they met. And I guess Oregon was just giving them a false sense of hope. And I think this would be Oregon's 3rd straight national title. Is that right? I think this would be Oregon's 3rd straight national title in this series if they were to do so. So they've got 2. I think Miami won it season 1. So this would be the 3rd straight national title for Oregon. So we are going to say that Clemson gets the victory here and breaks up the three-peat for Oregon. Okay, our pro potential went down a little bit. We're not obviously in risk of anybody leaving us. Okay, Coach Prestige back up to A+, which is nice. It is Clemson. So we did pick the last 3 games of the season correctly there. Get a nice dominant victory over Oregon, 35-13. Let's take a look. I guess there's probably a quicker way to do this by just going to scores and schedules. National championship game, 35-13. Vizina, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, goes out as a redshirt senior with a national title. Also added a score on the ground. Adonis Ramey, what a name. Gets in the end zone as well. Noble Johnson, a 13-buck-75 touchdown game. Ramey also had a receiving touchdown along with Cameron Johnson. Okay, nice job. Credit to them for getting the job done. And that one, and we are going to end up at number 6 on the final top 25. So Clemson, Oregon, Penn State, Florida, Pitt are your top 5. Pittsburgh being at 9-4 is a little shocking getting that high. Tulane, Miami, TCU, Washington State, Notre Dame are your top 10. Then it's Michigan, Troy, Tennessee, Cincinnati, UAB. They might be coming on along with us. We'll see though. Texas Tech, Nevada, Oklahoma, Boise State, Boston College, Rutgers, NC State, Alabama, Coastal Carolina, and Virginia Tech are your top 25 there to end the season. Shout out to Clemson getting the job done. And yeah, we are here at players leaving. Again, just to throw it out there, when it comes to the transfer portal, I want to say I've just been letting people leave if they decide to transfer. Maybe if they're like I think if they're like a for sure starter, I'll at least try to keep them. But for the most part, if they want to transfer, we're going to let them transfer. When it comes to the NFL draft, If it's a running back, you let them go regardless. If it is anybody else, if they're in the top 3 rounds, we're letting them go, not trying to bring them back. And we have nobody trying to leave, nobody trying to transfer. Looks like we're only going to have one drafted player here in Jaden Lewis, who, of course, had a great season to finish off his career, had a 3-interception game against Michigan there in the playoffs. Was one of the quarterbacks I was the most excited about when we entered into this dynasty. With his speed and athleticism, he had a really great career. Didn't see a lot of development from a lot of these other guys really throughout this series. This senior class was a little lackluster. I mean, it's obviously talented, and these guys played really key roles for us. So I don't want to say that, but as far as like their draft stuff, nobody really progressed. Like Palmer never really played. But Lewis, Fortson, Smith, Ashley Williams there as a senior was big. Michael Ivory obviously was fantastic. Cade Olson, leaves as a single-season sack guy, breaking Quincy Wiggins' record. Preen was always okay. Batiste didn't play a whole lot. Jack T never played for us. Anthony Miller's a tight end, didn't play much. And Kevin Adams, I don't know that he played a single significant snap. So there's a lot of, if we can feel out this cornerback room, it's why I feel really good about this upcoming season kind of being the year where all the arrows are truly pointing up and we're getting to, a really big spot. So let's take a look at the draft results. Jaden Lewis does go in the first, and Fortson actually sneaks into the 5th. Awesome. And we'll just, I like to kind of peruse this, just see if there's anybody at some of these big schools. So Virginia Tech ended up 25th, gets a couple of guys drafted. Let's see, Washington, Rasheed Williams. They got a couple of guys drafted there. Let's maybe take a look at Alabama. Obviously has a host of players to get drafted, including Austin Mack. Ryan Williams there goes in the 4th round. He had a good career in this dynasty, but didn't develop into that like super high, 90 overall ceiling. Arizona's got a couple of guys. Arizona State. Sam Levitt, 87 overall. Okay. Auburn, 3 guys there. Of course, Marcus Riddick, one of the high-end guys there. Clemson definitely has some guys get drafted, but I think, you win a national title, you only have 6 of your guys get drafted. It gives you hope that you can maybe kind of keep that train moving pretty quickly. Vecina and Wesco each go in the 6th round. Sammy Brown and Vic Burley can go in the top 2 rounds for them. Take a look at Florida. 5 people get drafted. Lagway falls to the 2nd. Okay. Let's see. Georgia. 1 first rounder, a couple guys in the 2nd, then some later round picks. Georgia Tech has 1 guy. What about Iowa? Iowa's got some guys there. Of course, a running back and a cornerback. Imagine that. Kansas, not much there. Let's take a look at LSU. A couple of guys. Okay. Michigan had a couple of players. All right. So we obviously didn't lose anybody to the transfer portal. It was not a big group of seniors that we lost. But I think this transfer portal is crucial. As we enter into the transfer portal, we have, I thought we were a little higher on the class ranks. We're only 18th because we have a smaller class, just 15 players. It's a couple of teams, with that 15 to 17 range ahead of us, but most of the teams ahead of us have a bigger class for sure. Obviously, the headliner here is Sergio Fields, top 5 player in the country, the number 1 quarterback. Pretty easy recruitment, to be honest with you. A guy out of Louisiana wanted to come here. I think he's going to be a major player for us in the future. Wide receiver, we have brought in Corey Doucette. He is, I think, just impact development. Yeah, impact development. Agbagu, so I have not seen his development yet, so we won't see that until it gets later in the offseason. Got a couple of tight ends that we're going after here, particularly Keelan Garner here out of Illinois. Definitely go ahead and we will go ahead and select that. We'll have him come on for, what's his championship contender. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll try to go ahead, get him locked up. We obviously got some people trying to go after him. Want to add him into this tight end room. He's a possession receiver. We don't know his speed, but everything else looks like he's going to be a pretty solid athlete. But really want to start getting the tight ends more involved. Got Deontay Burns here as a right tackle, 4-star guy. Got a couple of guards that ended up being pretty solid, even though they're just 3 stars. We missed out on some higher ones early in the process. Defensive end, we did a nice job adding in a couple of 4-star gems here and 3 4 stars in general. Matt Russo, defensive tackle, is another guy that should be real solid. Bargava here at middle linebacker. Great athlete, 87 tackle, 86 speed. He's another guy that needs some development in his pass coverage game, but is another very talented linebacker. We did add in 3 cornerbacks that I do think can play pretty much immediately. Caleb Amerson got the 80 zone, 92 speed. He's 6'3". He could probably play from day one if we decided to go that route. And then Frederick Doss, he's in the 70s on both man and zone coverage. He's not overly fast. Does have good size, though, at 6'2", 198. And is a pretty solid tackler. Hops is definitely the elite development. I just worry kind of with the 68 zone coverage. I run a lot of zone as to how good he'll be immediately. But again, another solid option there. We did bring in Tevin Luter here at strong safety. Not a great athlete, but we've really needed a body there. Now, obviously, you can always cut players, you know. And right now we have 15 people committed, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. 15 people committed. I think we'll get the tight end. We lost 12, so we're already going to have to cut some players, and there are some players I definitely think are cuttable. But let's take a look at this transfer portal and see what might be available to us. First thing I definitely want to go look at, we'll look at quarterbacks just to see if there's somebody. Not a great class here, it doesn't look like. Did get Isaac Wilson from Utah has entered the portal. Got a guy to Kansas State here, Louisville, Nebraska. Okay. He's got a couple of guys there, but nobody that's interested in us, and I wouldn't want anybody anyway. Running back, is there somebody here that's maybe somewhat interested? Nope. Okay. We don't run the ball a ton in this offense, so that doesn't overly surprise me. Wide receiver. This is where I would really like to be able to add a couple of guys. And it looks like that is just not really an option. So Addison and Sean Stenerud, neither one of them are standing out any way, shape, or form. Could be, looks like just a weak transfer portal class, to be honest with you. Doesn't look great. And again, just not a lot of people like interested in coming here. Kind of sucks when this happens because, like, you know, we've done really well on the defensive line and stuff, getting sacks. We got the play style that all these guys like. They just, for every reason, just don't want to come here, which is, you know, it's fine. Let's see. So this is probably going to be a very quick off season if we don't get a whole bunch of guys here that really want to come to the school. And, I mean, I'll take a look at some of these guys, but this is, yeah, looking like it's going to be a pretty quick off season. I'll take a look at the actual high schoolers and just see if anything's there. LaMarcus Addison, he's a sophomore, 86 speed, pretty much null and void in my offense. Not going to use somebody. 95 speed as a freshman. It's a deep threat, 6'3". He's got good enough speed to will at least take a look. I mean, a guy that's a 2-star transfer, he's probably going to be very low 70s. We don't have a great wide receiver room, though, so I'm okay at least just taking a glance at that. Go over to cornerback. It's probably not even worth scouting these guys. So that's good speed. He's a freshman. 74 man. We don't see what his zone is. So his zone is going to be lower than 74. 92 speed. 75 zone. 6'1". Let's take a look at that. Not a great tackler, though. Nope, we are out on Wicks. I think we're out on Gold. See if Nunez, and I'm not going to get into any kind of recruiting battle over him. I don't think he's even as good as the guys that we've recruited. 75 zone, he might be playable. Let's just take one last look at the prospects and just see if there's somebody, a wide receiver, that maybe just never got seen somehow. We got plenty of points available. Don't want the off-season video to be too quick. No 4 stars that don't have any offers. Maybe a couple of these 3 stars. Really, the only thing you can do is just kind of take a glance, see people that are still open. Top 700 player with no offers. We'll look at like the top 1,000 receivers that maybe don't have any offers and just go from there. We'll add Garrett McKinley. You know what, for Nunez, I'm not even gonna waste a scholarship. If we get him, it's just gonna be somebody we have to cut. So even Stenerud. .88 speed. He's 6'4". Everything else looks okay though. Clinton. 90 speed at 6'1". Physical. Everything else looks okay. You just don't know what his route running is. Besides that, short looks solid. Snodgrass. Trying to find like a super speed guy, so not interested in him at all at 86 speed. I got plenty of guys on the roster that aren't overly fast. 86, route on that. So I think we'll go ahead and cut Addison from the transfer list. Let's throw a scholarship in just a little bit of time here on some of these guys and just see if somebody just happens to really want to take a look at us. I think continuing to add to that wide receiver room is definitely worth doing for sure. I don't understand just not having, you know, we finished in the top 10 now a couple of times. We do get the commitment from Keelan Garner, the tight end. So that's our 16th commitment. Stenerud, we're up to 3rd. Definitely battling out some players. I said I didn't really plan on doing that. Let's take a look, though, at these wide receivers. Okay, so we moved up to 5th for Miranda. Clinton, we're up to 2nd. We're the only scholarship offer for him. He's 90 speed, 88 on Miranda. We'll go full 50 on Clinton. I got no problem doing that. Miranda will stick with the same, see if something happens. Stenerud, this is a battle I don't think we're going to win. I don't plan on... He's 6'3" with 95 speed. You know what? We'll take a chance. I got hours to burn, so be fine. We'll exit out of that. Get to week 3, no commitments. We're 1st for Stenerud, 1st for RJ Clinton, still 2nd there for Miranda. Okay. There are guys in that wide receiver room I don't care to have on the team. So Stenerud, again, 6'3", big time speed. He at least fills that void on the team. Route running and stuff still needs development, but there's some potential there, I think. Miranda, we're 2nd for him with Tech. We'll just go ahead and cut our losses there. Clinton, we are the go-ahead favorite, 6'1", 3-star guy out of Georgia. Good enough speed. Good spec catch. Need a little bit more acceleration, but we'll try to bring him on. We'll try to make this a 4 wide receiver class here to finish things off. Finished top 10 a couple of times here in this dynasty. We do get Stenerud, so that's a transfer that we brought in. Okay, so we're looking to just finishing up with Clinton, who we look like we could potentially get there. And where did Stenerud, where is he coming from? I did not check that. So Stenerud out of Liberty. Okay. Looks like hopefully that's a nice find. Freshman did have 5 teams offer him, including Georgia Tech and West Virginia, among other schools. So that's at least exciting. And then I think we're still looking good here for Clinton. Hopefully we can get him, finish up this recruiting class. I like what we've done here. See if we add him. We did not. Okay. Maybe he'll come as a walk-on, or he does come. Okay, we just did not get the screen. So Clinton ends up with normal development. We do get impact out of Stenerud, so that's at least nice. So 3 impact wide receivers, 1 normal. Let's just take a look at the prospects here. Just position by position, see where the top guys ended up. So your top quarterback was Sergio Fields, of course. He is coming to Tulane. Britton Lawlyle going to Texas. Marquise Redwine going to Clemson. Courtney Shaver going to Georgia. Deji Best going to SMU. That's your top 5 there. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Did not mean to. Come on. Running back, top 5. Eric Doris goes to Tennessee. Caesar Sharga goes to Oregon. Sharif Merritt goes to Cincinnati. Isaiah Square goes to Miami. And Moses Bishop goes to Alabama. We did not bring in a running back in this entire class. Wide receiver, the top 5 is Miguel Quintero goes to Miami. Nate Buggs goes to Clemson. Pat Maje goes to Wisconsin. Interesting there. Dennis Fallon goes to NC State. And Jalen Sorgi goes to Cal. Here at tight end. Top 5, you got Bruce Griffin goes to Penn State. Jimmy Mandarino goes to Miami. Nick Ferreira goes to Florida. Alan Schreiber goes to Nevada. Interesting. Darren Presley goes to Georgia. Offensive tackle, you got Cornell Law, who he went after really hard. Ended up finishing second for him, goes to Ole Miss. Braden Parker goes to Ohio State. Got Jeff Ivey to Kentucky. Nate Tobias to Auburn. David Guillermo goes to Ohio State. Offensive guard, you got Goings to North Carolina. Hennessy there to Miami. West Virginia grabs a guy here in Oslewski. Khalil Brooks goes to Auburn. Sidney Middlebrooks goes to LSU. And center Allers goes to Michigan. Quick goes to Cincinnati. Freeman goes to Nebraska. Delegala goes to Texas. And Alex Moten goes to Kansas State. Defensive end, we got a couple of guys a little farther down here. I mean, you got one top 200 prospect. Obviously, he did give some 4-star guys, but the guys here at the top, got Simons goes to Michigan. Glenn Etienne goes to Illinois. Okay. David Trapucka goes to Clemson. Is he from Illinois? Oh, the top 2 defensive ends are both from Illinois. That's interesting. Dexter Breeze goes to Ohio State. Taylor Ramos goes to Oregon. Defensive tackle, you got Jesus Tiercero goes to Miami. Silverstro goes to Tennessee. You got one for Maryland. Got a guy from Clemson, a guy for Oregon. So Oregon just keeps loading up. Outside linebacker, you got DeMarco goes to Miami. Dobes to Ohio State. Lawrence to Georgia Tech. Morey to Oregon. Saylor to Miami. Miami definitely did a really nice job here. So you got Winter goes to Oregon here at middle linebacker. Murphy to Tennessee. Kane Carter to Georgia. Coach Bargava comes here to us, number 4 middle linebacker in the country. Flowers goes to NC State. Cornerback, we obviously wrapped up some guys here, but nobody in the top 5. Ball goes to Colorado. Costanza goes to Georgia. Kokolo goes to Oregon. Toto goes to Clemson. And then Mundy goes to Miami. Free safety, got a guy going to Nevada. That's crazy. They got a couple of top-end guys. Laybourne goes to Clemson. Osgood goes to Clemson. Duke goes to Oregon. Kenyon goes to Kentucky. And then Iverson goes to Florida. Parker goes to Georgia. Tam goes to Oregon. Melvin goes to Ohio State. And then Oscar Lambo goes to Ohio State. Got a couple of kickers here. A couple of guys that didn't go anywhere. And then got some punters here. And we'll just look to maybe see where the top quarterback went. development, I think would be kind of cool here in the transfer portal class. As the only 4-star guy here, and Isaac Wilson transfers from Utah to Oregon. So they added up here, and then top classes. Your top 10 are Clemson, Miami, Oregon, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Ole Miss, and Penn State. We end up at 19th. So did not get to the top, but do get a 5-star and a number of 4 stars. Take a look at position changes now. See if there's anybody in particular we are wanting to move around. We did not get any athletes this year. Sergio Fields comes in as a 79 overall. Nice. And of course, we're looking to see what jumps we got. See if there's anybody we really want to change positions. I doubt it. Does not seem. Yeah, I don't have any athletes. And I don't like doing the position to position thing where you're adding in, guys playing positions that they're not supposed to, I guess. I don't mind bringing an athlete and putting them somewhere else, but I know that taking scrambling quarterbacks and putting them at outside linebacker or something is like a meta game way to play, but I'm not interested in doing that in this one. So we don't have any athletes. So this is pretty much your roster. I guess we should take a look at some of the true freshmen. Sergio Fields is 79 overall. Wide receiver Clinton was a decent little find for us, 69 overall. Doucette just a 66. Okay. Boogie there's just a 65. Stenerud's a 66. So definitely lower end guys, but at least adding some speed to this wide receiver room. Definitely a little faster than it was this past year. Garner's a 72. Okay. Coffee and Craig, they're very lowly rated. Burns, the guy that should be, I think, a future starter for us, I think, at some point in time. Prochet, Reynoso, and Jovanovic are solid off rip. Russo's pretty solid there. Bargava, 75 overall. Some of these guys, even the true freshmen, you just kind of start falling behind guys. You got to be really talented to break into this roster early on unless you have a very specific skill. A lot of speed at running back or wide receiver can get you on the field a little bit earlier. These tight end, these cornerbacks look like some of these guys are definitely going to play off rip. Yeah, this is a good enough team where you got to start, you got to be pretty talented coming into this. We definitely need some player progression, though. We're only at 85 overall right now. No position changes. We'll run it. Do get another coach level up there. Training results. So Kilgo is up to a 90 base, 95 overall. We'll do it position by position. Celestia Chin barely comes up. I knew he had very little room really left to jump without adding to quickness, which is going to be expensive for him to jump, and even his elusiveness. But the accuracy was pretty much already about where it was going to be. The IQ, is up to a 93 awareness, 99 play action. At least looks like he'll be a 4-year starter for us, but it does suck from the standpoint of trying to play Fields. As we're entering year 5, I think we might get through year 6 before the next game comes out. I might try to speed things along with the hopes of getting a chance to at least see Fields. Browning up to a 93 overall. He has definitely, been a rocket ship player for us. Elite development has been really good. Average over 4 yards a carry, 17 rushing touchdowns each, in the first 2 years. Has gotten almost 1,300 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns there as well. He's probably pretty much the capped player, I would think, at this point. No, he's still, good Lord. So if he were to come back for a senior year, he is the kind of player that could be a legitimate, 96, 97 overall. If he took a just super jump, had a gigantic season, could maybe get up to a 99. But a 93 overall, I'm sure this is his last year. Finnerty jumps up a little bit. He's now officially the second highest rated running back on the team, but this is something he's up to 95 speed. Okay, Finnerty was disappointed in how he played this past season and wants to take the step up there, so that's good to see. Come on, need some wide receivers. Bueno takes a little minor step up. Certainly be a draft guy this next year. Peppers takes the big jump. So this is the guy that I've kind of circled wanting to be, the number 2 in this offense. Uh, Really, really nice to see that progression. Muhammad continues to improve. Just the 87 speed is just a little lackluster. But I can find, I think, some different things for him to do. Sean Nicholas has improved. Didn't really get a big jump out of Kuchar. Uh, okay. We got a solid group of guys here. For sure, tight ends, not a big jump from anybody there. I don't know if we got a jump at all from Myrtle. Fortenberry, Heinrich definitely moved up a little bit. Silva moves up there. Neighbors definitely ready to take over that center role. Lauren Cola had a pretty solid year. Definitely had his warts at times. And right tackle, we saw some nice improvements there. Rentz is definitely not the starter anymore. Got a big jump there from Westerman. He'll take that over. And left end, Ishmael looks like the guy that's going to get the first crack there. And of course, as we get ready for the first game, I'll definitely take a look at all these stats and kind of see what I think is going to play. But like that 89 move for Ishmael is probably going to make him the starter right off rip. Burnett right now looks like the leader in the clubhouse to start at right end. But of course, we'll take a look. Cantu and Fuller each take pretty good, nice jumps here. Toon Farrier starting to fall behind. He was right there in Cantu's class. Definitely starting to move back a little bit here behind Fuller and now Toon. Robert Lucian, not a big jump. Again, didn't play a ton, though. I would expect a bigger jump this upcoming year because I think he's got elite development. Star development, okay. Former 5-star guy. He's got plenty of room to grow. I would think with more playing time this year, he can definitely take a big step. Kilgo, again, takes a big leap. Free actually jumps Kumar, who heading into this past year, he looked like he was pretty much a tapped-out prospect. He is now definitely a tapped-out prospect. He's a former 2-star, but he developed into a very good player for us. Free is a better athlete, got higher awareness. Play rec is roughly the same. He's a better tackler. He just looks like a better player than Kumar. Kumar's better in man covers, but Free has probably earned more playing time this year now. Finally has a redshirt junior. He operated as our third linebacker this past class. Got a nice boost there from Shin. His Vigil here is definitely starting to move down. Eldrin Camp, a guy that I really liked. I mean, he's developed a ton, but he's a great athlete. So that might be enough to keep him on the field and help him find a home. But, I mean, Washington certainly looks like a guy that needs to be playing more for us. But we'll see what roles everybody plays. So Bickley takes a 5-point jump. Definitely cornerback 1. Boggs did take a nice little leap up here. The quarterback room is definitely lacking a little bit. So definitely the weakness of this team that I've seen is definitely this cornerback room. Safeties, Jolly and Jordan, looks like they're pretty well tapped out, I guess. They were both normal development guys, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not taking the big leaps, unfortunately. Yeah, both of them normal. Just not taking gigantic leaps, but they're both plenty good players. They'll definitely both be starting over Pascal. Helmke, Caver. Okay, so at the top, we're 89 overall, 90 offense, 89 defense. We're definitely a step up from where we were last year. We were 87s across the board. I think we're real close. I think we're real close because I think that after this year, you're looking at Browning is almost for sure gone. Trey Bueno is almost for sure gone. Kilgo is definitely gone on this offensive line. These guys may lose Neighbors, 88 overall base. He's definitely a draftable guy at that range. Kilgo has to go. Free, yeah, he's probably fine. Okay. So those are definitely the two guys you're for sure. The couple of guys you're for sure losing there at the high end of your team. Yeah, we look pretty solid. I feel like now you got to start making some tough decisions here with the encouraging transfers. Let's see. So we got to cut 6 players. We're going to start off here at quarterback, where at this point I think it makes 0 sense for Zach Jennings to, want to stay here at this point in time. I think Ciante Petway is probably a guy that in real life would see, hey, I'm a redshirt sophomore. Celestia Chan is probably going to be here 2 more years, and then I'm going to be behind Sergio Fields. I think it's very, very honest that Petway would probably be gone. So cut 2 quarterbacks. Still got a 4 quarterback room. Urbic and Wing seem like guys that, I think are more realistic to kind of stay around and keep developing. Running back. I just worry if these 2 guys down here would ever play. Dolegala just seems. I mean, you got a couple of juniors here, but all these guys are, at least another year. And then he would still probably be behind Holiday. We'll let Dolegala go ahead and head out. Then Walters is really not going to do anything other than kick return for us. I think I can find other players to do that. He's a redshirt junior. We'll go ahead and send him as well. We'll leave the tight ends. Heinrich may be a starter next year. Sharif Miles already doesn't really want to be here. So we'll go ahead and cut him. And over here at right tackle, I think it makes a bunch of sense for Rents to want to transfer. So we'll go ahead and send him. Let's see, is there somebody else that really stands out to me? As guys, sorry if you hear my dog snoring beside me. Just in case we wanted to cut anybody else, I want to take a look. I just don't know if like a guy like Pascal ever play. We're full though. We don't have to cut anybody else, so we'll leave everybody else at this point. Now it's time for custom conferences. And I tell you what, I'll go ahead and I will save right here in this spot just in case I mess something up. But I think that we should be okay to just I want to put us into the Big 12. I think it's better if you have like an even number of schools. See, they are at 16. I just think that makes the most sense for us. Obviously, the SEC makes the most sense, but I just spent, this entire year also doing a Georgia Dynasty, and I don't want to face all SEC teams here again. So we will move Tulane. And, okay, so that's 8. So 14 teams. Do we want to take somebody with us is the thing. Nobody else is really close. So we're at 4 stars now. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is, like, if I don't take somebody from the AAC with us, do their schedules kind of get messed up? That is definitely something I'm a little freaked out about. I don't think it really makes that much sense to bring anybody else with us when I could then take somebody like Boise State, into the Big 12. Nevada, who we have played in this series, I think would be interesting. They just brought in a really good recruiting class. Because Big 12 wise, I mean, we might be the best program technically in here. So Colorado is 4 stars. TCU is 4. We're 4. Like, we're already one of the better programs in this conference. I just worry that just adding, let's see, number of conference games. We definitely want to play more than 4. I think 8 would be good. I think 8 makes a lot more sense than just playing 4. We'll take a shot at just leaving and make sure the American Conference doesn't really mess up there. So they got enough for everybody to play 8 and that not be a big deal. Okay. So yeah, they were just going to leave it as is. Just kind of have an odd number there, unless there's a conference. So they have an even number of teams. Sunbelt is currently same number on each side, 14 there. I mean, it makes sense to maybe bring, like, UTSA would have been nice if they were playing like they were early here. You know what? Let's take UAB's an 85 overall. We'll take I think we'll take them in there with us. Should we do that? I know it's supposedly better if you have the even number of teams. I think we're fine. I think we'll just roll with us. We'll just have an odd number. If it doesn't work, then I'll come back to this point and I'll put another team in there with us. But I do think I want to just roll with that. So we've already encouraged transfers. We have moved us into the Big 12. And again, the reason why I'm doing the Big 12, there's no standout team, right? Which obviously can, in a way, makes things easier. But I think it also, brings just some new flavor to it. We've obviously played Kansas State a couple of times in this dynasty. They have beat us up a little bit, to say the least. And, there's a void here. There's a vacuum. There's a chance for us to, hey, we've been really good in this group of 5. Let's move into into a power conference, try to take it over. There's 4 teams that at least ended the season in the top 25. Colorado has been pretty solid in this series. Both of the Arizona schools, BYU has struggled, Baylor has struggled. But, Houston can be good. Iowa State can be good. Utah can be good. Some of these teams are struggling, but there's always a little up and down. But I do think that this is a conference that gives us more overall competition. I do think that while we played some closer games here in the AAC, some of it is me almost taking some things for granted, especially as we get like halfway through this season where we could just, I could just throw the ball to Trey Bueno and beat these teams pretty much. And it's a step up in competition. And it's a new conference. It's a chance for me to take a look at some different teams that I haven't really gotten to, haven't played now an AAC Dynasty and an SEC Dynasty already on this channel. I think the Big 12 would be nice to kind of jump into, give us a challenge, but also give us a chance to take a conference and make it our own. And I think that the Big 12 is definitely the conference for us. It's the one that I decided on pretty much at the beginning of this year. And, if I had not played a Georgia Dynasty, I would move Tulane to the SEC because I think that actually makes the most sense, but I digress. We're going to now move into the beginning here of year 3, and we'll go ahead and set our conference schedule here as we come in ranked in the top 5. So when it comes to conference games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we get 8. It looks like it's a nice mix of home and away, which is also nice. It gives us a chance. We play Texas Tech. I guess I forgot to mention that. We did upset them this past season. Ended up end of the year ranked higher than them. So got 3 straight conference road games to start things off, and then a home, road, home, road, home. So definitely start off with a tougher schedule coming into it. So because of that, I might not, crush us here with out of conference. I don't want to play an FCS team. I do know that. And I think I would like to. I was kind of thinking about maybe taking on an LSU there. Why don't we, though, take a trip and take on Clemson on the road? So we'll add that. We'll play Ohio at home. I think playing at Syracuse, get a couple of home games here against Jack State and Ohio. Road trip to Clemson. You could definitely be looking, at a 2-2 or a 1-3 start. But I think taking Clemson on the road, I think would be kind of cool. And then playing at the Dome, I haven't done that yet. I have not played Syracuse there, so I think that would be cool to do as well. They were 6-7 last year. Jack State was 5-7. Have not played them on this game. Ohio was 7-6, a solid. Clemson obviously won the national championship. Texas Tech, BYU was not good. Arizona State was pretty good. UCF just fell below 500 but did make a bowl game. Utah struggling. See if they rebound. Then we get Arizona. Good team. Should be fun. West Virginia was not great. And then TCU was obviously pretty good. So we'll enter the season with 4 top 25 teams on the docket. 2 in the top 10 and 1 just outside of it in Texas Tech. I do think this is a Tulane team that could be ready to take that next step. So, alas, I think that's pretty much it. We can take just a pretty quick precursory glance at the prospects, maybe. Looks like let's go to just any state. Got a couple of guys here at the top that obviously would like to play for us. I'll look to add a quarterback, but I'm not going crazy over a quarterback. Running back, definitely going to try to add some running backs. Wide receiver, nobody really here at the top. I have to try to find somebody there. Tight end, nobody really here at the top. Need offensive linemen. We got a couple of guys that may be interested in us there. Offensive line, I'm always interested in bringing in more guys there. Got a 4-star center here, a couple of them. Defensive lineman, what about cornerback? We need to continue addressing this situation here for sure. Not a ton of guys here at the top. Okay. Free safety, definitely got some people here, and I need some guys, so that's good to see. Strong safety, it's always been something I've struggled with in both of my dynasties, trying to find strong safeties that are really worth playing a strong safety, I guess. But nobody really there. But I'll take a look at the recruiting here off camera. Looks like to me the conference schedules look like they're okay. But I'll set up a little save file just to keep us safe, just in case something pops up. But I'll take a look at the recruiting board, and I'll set that up, and then I'll advance and just take a look at other teams, I guess, especially like in the AAC, leave out who we just left, just to make sure they're all looking okay. But everything looks fine. I think the only thing I really saw was to make sure you do the when you're doing the conference, do the schedule rules and make sure it's set up to where you're playing enough games. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. Check out my Seattle Mariners franchise on the channel and my Atlanta Hawks franchise on the channel. And yeah, till next time, thank you so much for tuning in.